What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Future Endeavours. I'm joined by my co-hosts themselves, the legendary Miles. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to be here.
Kelechi, how about yourself, man?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. How are you guys doing?
All blessed, all blessed. Enjoying the WrestleMania build-up. And Keanu, same with you, man. How are you feeling?
I'm good, man. But I just need to, before we start, I just need to address something because there was something that Miles did last week on the last episode that I didn't really appreciate. So
Here we go.
he didn't tell me that he was gonna bring out hardware, so I just had to just go bring.
Oh,
So I didn't.
Shameless.
I didn't appreciate him bringing the hardware out like that.
Is that the UK title as well?
Listen, it's discontinued, but it's the best looking title that they had.
Shameless.
So I had to just, I'm gonna just say it right here, but just so you know that he's not the only one that's got hardware. You know.
Fair play.
You know what? Do you know what? When the preview hits properly, I'm gonna bring mine as well. But then I'm hitting like Miles, the Universal title, the best in the business, I think, man.
Listen. Just call me Marcus Rashford. I'm a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the one that Miles had? Was it the Universal title?
The real one, bro.
Real one. The proper.
I'm hearing that might get discontinued. You know.
No, wait. Universal was the blue one.
Universal's the blue
one.
Is it
the blue one?
Yeah, that one's the actual. That's the actual championship.
I got the original.
That's the world title, yeah. That's the world title.
Fair play.
You guys, Keanu, you're very lucky that my one is just too far from my reach right now.
I quickly went upstairs. That's why I was screaming before. I quickly went upstairs and had to quickly go grab it. I just had to do that to you.
Do you know what? I like that. Just a little bit in there, a little bit of prodding. But guys, we're on the road to WrestleMania. We're about just over a week away. And I want to get your guys' views before anything else. What's your favorite WrestleMania of all time? Miles, I'll go to you.
Damn. I've only been watching WWE, I say, the last 10 years. So I don't have this kind of long history of WrestleManias. I'm struggling to remember what my first one was, but my favorite, and I can't even tell you what number it was, maybe one of you guys can, was when Seth did the Madness. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, that was everything for me. I can't lie. That was like, oh, I'm invested in this company. You know, I had done the whole TNA thing for the majority of my wrestling watching, and I was quite fresh, maybe a couple of years fresh into, or maybe that was my first WrestleMania. I'm not even sure, but whatever it was about that one was like, yeah, I'm here to stay.
What about you, Keanu? What was your first WrestleMania memory and also your favorite WrestleMania that you can recall?
First WrestleMania memory is going to be a difficult one. It
goes
back a long way, but I'd say my favorite one, and literally just because of this match, WrestleMania 27, Undertaker versus Triple H, the first one. Like, the storytelling in that match, maybe in ring ability, it wasn't all there, but in terms of storytelling and the way they just went back and forth, probably the best match I've ever seen. Like, it just had everything for me. And I wouldn't be able to tell you anything that's better than that, to be fair. I mean, the rest of the card wasn't that great, fair play, but that match alone just makes it the best WrestleMania of all time for me. Just that iconic match.
Do you know what? The only thing I'm against that is because I feel like we saw so many battles with him and Shawn, and then the move with him and Triple H. It just felt like it was a bit of a cycle thing rather than anything fresh. So I was like in a minority. I didn't really like the Undertaker, Shawn, and Undertaker Triple H stuff. And then I still remember the match that they did when it was the Brothers of Destruction versus DX. I think it was in Saudi as well, and that was painful.
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, why are we bringing up that one though?
But I'm just ending on a sour note. But what about you, Keanu?
Nah, that's crazy.
What's like WrestleMania, the standout moments for you and your favorite event?
I feel like my favorite one is, funny enough how you just mentioned it, but it's 26 Korea versus Street. I think that's Taker versus Shawn. I think that's my favorite one. I think in terms of recent ones though, I think I might actually say 35 because that was the one where Kofi won the championship. I think that's the one where we was looking at the card and you're wondering how is everybody going to get the wins that they want. Like, you had Seth and Brock, you had Kofi and Daniel Bryan. I think that whole storyline with Daniel Bryan was probably one of the greatest storylines that he's actually ever done, in my opinion. And I think even though we had the feeling that Kofi would win, there was still, because Daniel Bryan played it so well, it was still that thought that he actually just might win at Mania and that's it. So I think for him to then win, it was perfect. But I think in terms of just like all-time favorite, it has to be Career versus Streak, Taker versus Shaw, because the build was sensational. Like it was spanning over like 2 or 3 years. Like it was just amazing. Like you can't beat that kind of build.
You know what? I'm gonna go old school. I'm talking like real old school here. WrestleMania 21 when they went Hollywood the first time, because in that you had this inaugural Money in the Bank match, so that set the pathway for it to carry on. Cena getting his first title reign, he became basically the face of the company there. You also had Randy Orton against Undertaker, so you basically created Randy Orton. He went into that legendary feud with Taker, included Cowboy Bob Orton and everything of the sort. Batista winning the first title as well. There was a lot of firsts in that kind of, if you look at the three guys there and what they did generationally for the rest of their careers, WrestleMania 21 was kind of that iconic event that set them going forward. And for me, that always sets it. And then Edge also winning the Money in the Bank and the way he cashed it in kind of set the precedent going forward for basically the next 15 or so years when it came to the WWE.
Was that the Money in the Bank with like Finlay, RVD, Shelton Benjamin, all of them ones?
It was the first one. So I can't remember who fully was in there. I just remember the way it was created was it went into Bischoff's office and it was just done there and then. And then Edge came up with, I think Edge had come up, or Bischoff came up with the idea. Edge won it the first time. And then from there, it became like a WrestleMania staple piece match until they obviously made it their own pay-per-view event. And since then, I think we call it like one of the top 5 now. Like it's managed to put itself in there because of how prestigious the actual match and now the event actually is. So I'm going 21 as that personal event that stands out for me. But then recently, it has to be Daniel Bryan winning the world title. The whole Wrestlemania, the whole event, everything about it, even though you kind of knew what was going to happen, it's just the whole moment of it was actually really having to wrestle 2 matches in the same night type of thing, being able to go ahead and do that. And I think that kind of showed that WWE actually listens to its fans and the crowd actually dictated how someone's career can actually go.
Yeah, it was a moment.
Well, I think I want to move on to what we got now and something that we didn't see last year, but we are seeing this year, and that's the IC title and the US title being defended. And they're normally they were last year an afterthought when it came to the event. I can't even remember the champions personally. But this year, you've got Theory and Cena who are opening up WrestleMania on Saturday. And you've got the triple threat between Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. And I guess I want to hear from you guys. How important is it to have both titles on the line? And also when it comes to the build of these matches, are you impressed with how they've come about? Open up to anyone.
Take the floor, gents.
Well, so the IC
that means Miles ain't feeling it. I already know that's what you mean. You ain't feeling it.
No. Okay, I'll go first. No, I actually am feeling it. Actually, funny enough.
All right, go on.
Yeah, it's good that obviously we have both titles on this show. My favorite champion, I guess, other than Roman Reigns, is Gunther, for example. So I'm just so happy to see kind of his title reign. I think he's not been pinned since he has come up to the main roster as well, which is something that is a bit of an oversight as well, as you've got Roman's lengthy title reign. So I'm very happy to see that match. I hope he doesn't lose the title to either Drew or Sheamus, because as much as I love Sheamus and I'm an okay fan of Drew, they don't really have it to carry that title for the next however long that title will be held for. And then you have the US title. A lot of fans don't really like Theory, and I don't know why. Like, he generates so much heat. Like, he's not even the villain. He's just so annoying. Like, and he makes you want to watch him because of how annoying he is. So, yeah, man. Also very excited for that match with John Cena as well. Definitely one that I've been looking forward to for a while.
You know what? Something you said there about Gunther and his title reign. Are we now more fans of people having long title reigns compared to holding the belt for like 3 months, then dropping it and someone else becoming champion? Or do you guys like the idea of champions being rotated constantly.
I like long title reigns if they are always defending the title. That's what I like. Like, don't put the belt on someone and then let them get to 100 or 200 days and they've defended it like 5 times. Like, let's
like Brock Lesnar.
I mean,
Yeah.
We can't be having those part-time champions like Goldberg or something like that.
Well-
we need someone
well,
who's
we've-
gonna
we've-
defend
we've
it week in,
broken-
week out.
Yeah, with Brock and Goldberg and them man are part timers, so it's like them man can afford to do that. But like, obviously Roman he's transitioning a bit more into that part time role, but he's still you can still say that come pay per view time, the man's defending the title like every time.
That's true.
So I'm not mad at like with Brock. Sometimes he would have had the belt, but then sometimes 2, maybe 3 premium live events would pass and he's not defended the belt. But so like you'll see him at SummerSlam, but then you won't see him at the next review. But at least with Roman, it's been every single live event. So I can't be mad at that. I think with Gunther, like going back to what you were saying, man, I think Gunther is like the epitome of what WWE needs at the top. I think I'm not mad if he loses the belt, because to me, if he loses the belt and Cody wins the big belt, Gunther then goes for the big belt. That's what I think anyway, because obviously them two were the last in the Rumble. There's some ties there.
Yeah.
I would not be mad at that at all.
Do we really want to see Drew McIntyre or Sheamus back with it? I feel like we've been there and done that with the reign of Drew and Sheamus.
I think with the thing you put it on, if you put it on Sheamus, you do it because it's the last one that he needs to win in terms of having won every championship that there is to win in WWE. So that's fair. I'm not mad at it. If he wins it, then at some point Drew and Sheamus will probably them two will probably even have a match at Money in the Bank, most likely, because that's probably what they'll book it towards. I don't necessarily want to see Drew with it. I think I'm not mad with where Drew is right now. I think ultimately, as we said on the last episode, like WWE can heat up anybody when they want to. I think Drew is like, he had his long run when he came back, and he has put on some great matches, whether it was the pandemic era or when people came back. Like, he's been doing his thing. But I think put it on Sheamus. Let's see what Sheamus can do. There's matches out there to do, and then just put the rocket on Gunther right now. Put the rocket on him.
Sorry, real quick. The reason why I don't want Sheamus to win it is so that I don't have to hear that stupid catchphrase, banger after banger after, which is stupid. Hate it. It's cringe.
It works.
That's the fun side of it. The only thing I'd say is, if you put it on Sheamus or Drew McIntyre and they face each other, one of them's going to turn heel, and I feel like it's too soon to put Sheamus back as a heel. And Drew McIntyre just seems like, since his run's been back in the WWE, he's always been a face, and the fans still like Drew. So I don't know how you make that move.
Nah, you have to make Sheamus heel. Sheamus has done his best work as a heel. I don't think he's done anything really that memorable as a face. So I reckon the best move is to turn him to a heel.
I think with Sheamus being a face, you get a comedy side to him. Whereas when he's always the heel, you know you're going to get better promos to a point, but it's always going to be a bit too serious. Whereas when he's a face, you get stuff like how you had before with the bar and stuff like that. It's a lot more comedic, and you see a funny side to Sheamus. Same with the way how he handled Butch and stuff like that. Whereas when he's a heel, for me, I personally find him more boring as a heel than I do as a face.
I was going to say, I think putting Drew back as a heel would be great, to be honest, because I think when he came back to WWE and then he got the call back up from NXT, he was a heel, like he was with Dolph, and like you had that whole run with him. Oh, I beat Kurt Angle at WrestleMania with his own move, and like the Scottish. I think I like the Scottish Terminator more as when he's a heel as opposed to when they say it when he's a face, because I think it just doesn't work as well. Like, I think when he was really kicking people's heads off, like with bare vim as a heel, it worked much better to me than as when he was a face. And I think ultimately he's been a face for a while now. Like, one of them has to change. Sheamus, technically, before they moved the Brawling Brutes back to being faces, they were heels, but because the crowd was gravitating them so much, they turned them. So I think if you're gonna turn someone, it makes sense to be Drew, because he's kind of been in the same place for a while now.
I'm with you, and I kind of think as well, like what you said, the momentum like dying a little bit with Drew. I think it's just like he's there, and you know they can put on a good match, so it's going to be fun. But you don't expect him to actually come out with the gold. Whereas I think Sheamus is more likely to win over Gunther. Speaking on titles, though, let's go with the US title then. Cena coming back, basically what I would say is facing basically baby Cena in theory. He's kind of like toyed with the idea when he did the promo to say, you're basically just like me 20 years ago type of thing. Will Cena put Theory over, or can the impossible happen where Cena somehow leaves with the belt?
Theory's winning.
And how big's that?
Thing is, for them to put it at the start of the show now, it's kind of thrown a spanner in the works because we don't really know what's going to happen. Like, if John Cena loses in the first match of the WrestleMania card, that's a sticky one. I don't know. Will they actually do that? I feel like it rubbed people the wrong way.
Jonathan is not leaving that Los Angeles with that belt. I'm gonna tell you that right.
He's got
now.
movies to do. I can't see him winning it personally, but
he is putting that man over, and it's the right decision.
He's bringing out the shovel again, in my opinion.
As Mal said,
out the shovel.
There's no reason. Like, people don't like Theory because it's the cool thing to not like Theory. But if you look at Theory, the man can wrestle for real. Like, if you go back and watch some of his matches, even in NXT, or even if you want to go back further when he was in Progress before they signed him, that man can wrestle for real. So
that guy can sell as well.
He can sell for real. Yeah. So you put him in there with the biggest star that WWE has had over the past 2 decades in John Cena. Firstly, that's the amount of trust that they have in him to have this match. And second, he ain't losing. He ain't losing. Because you know what Theory's going to be like after he beats it. That Monday, how unbearable he's going to be. He's going to walk out there. Think about what Cena said in that promo. It's like, oh, what it's going to be like when you walk out the Monday after WrestleMania. Everybody was good. Like, if you win, people are going to boo you. If you lose, people are going to boo you. Like, and you think about how hot the crowd is going to be when his music hits and he's just walking out there like, yeah, I beat everybody's favorite. It's going to be sensational.
You know, I like that. I want to now talk about what we've seen this week with Raw and SmackDown as well. Speaking on SmackDown, because it's a bit more recent, we saw finally Rey Mysterio snap, and he basically hit Dominic, and it looks like we're on for WrestleMania. How amazing has Dominic been this just leading up to Mania, and has he been basically the star that nobody really expected to happen?
Yeah, I'm so excited for this one. I can't even lie. Like, I'm so excited for this one. Like, Dominic has just changed my mind completely. I wasn't feeling him at the beginning. I didn't really think he had what it takes to kind of be in WWE, more so as a wrestler. For me, he was always all right talking, even when he was a face with his dad. You know what I mean? I felt he was all right. He was an endearing enough character. Then he starts to wrestle, and he's kind of got this like overall tights, and it's just like I wasn't really buying it. He's very slim type thing. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but he just didn't. He's a bit like Logan Paul, just like very slim. Didn't really buy him jumping off top ropes and all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? But now with all the work he's done on the mic, he's still got a way to go, but he's made this story very interesting. And I mean, there's arguments. Like, I will definitely have the argument of who has more crowd heat, him or Theory. Like, he's done such a good job where Theory at one point was here compared to him, and he's just kind of slowly brought himself either to level for me or slightly more. And for him to have done that in such a short space of time, I mean, clearly he's been working with his dad behind the scenes on his mic game, on how to make this story legit. Rey Mysterio crying tears as well, bro. It's this thing. It has everything for me. Everything.
That last promo got me, man. I can't even lie. He was talking about the Hall of Fame, saying, "I want my son right next to me." I was like, "Damn, they're really going in on this." You know, like before, they weren't really making people believe that we could actually see them fight against each other, but now I feel like I'm really believing the heat. But I will actually want to see that match, and I think it could potentially steal the show. Like, imagine the chemistry together. Like, I want to see that. Like, before, I wasn't feeling it.
It's been beautiful. I think, like, even with, like, in terms of, like, people judging Dominic, like, we saw the decision of when he joined the Judgment Day. People were wondering what was going on, why they're putting him in this group. But ultimately, you put him in a group with a lot of people who are extremely experienced when it comes to talking on the mic as well as being in the ring. And when your dad is Rey Mysterio, you're going to be getting help anyway. And then I think just to see, like, listening to the crowd yesterday, or whenever this comes out, like the previous SmackDown, we're listening to the crowd when when actually just hit him. I was thinking, oh no, this is like, we're here, we've arrived. And then even when you listen to Michael Cole on the call, because Michael Cole, listen, firstly,
I love Michael Cole.
let me just say this. Let's just say this: Michael Cole, greatest of all time, greatest announcer of all time. It's not a debate. I don't care what anyone says. He's better than any of them that's ever sat down at that stage.
Yeah, facts.
When Ray hit him and you hear him shout, "Oh yeah," I'm like, Michael Cole is gonna love calling this one. He's gonna love it. So we're all invested, and we knew it was coming ultimately, but we were just wondering, what is it gonna be that takes us over the top? And it just happened to be. It's always about family with Ray, always. So just
You
to
think
see
Rey
this,
Mysterio puts his son over though?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah,
has
yeah,
to.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But then
Like,
where does Rey
I'm sure
Mysterio
we'll
go after that? Do you think he
Rey-
retires?
Well, to be fair, I mean, he isn't getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, but I don't think he's retiring. I think ultimately Ray still looks like he's got plenty of years left, so he'll probably do like his Edge thing, like he'll be in the Hall of Fame, but he's still wrestling. Maybe like he'll do like 1 or 2 more years, and then he'll call it quits. But I think he's 100% putting Dominic over, 100%. I think there's nothing more he would have loved to have done, and I'm pretty
Yeah, that's
sure.
true.
I'm pretty
as
sure.
a father, like in real
I'm
life, I
pretty
think
sure
he has to.
I'm pretty sure there's even going to be something that happens at the Hall of Fame ceremony when Ray's up on that stage. Dominic's going to try something. That's what I think.
That would be amazing, you know.
That'd be great.
Induction thing, because obviously the Hall of Fame is the one thing where they break character completely and they allow people just to speak on reality. How much of Hall of Fame speech for Ray will they keep Dominic in character? Because they surely can't pan to him in the audience or anything like that, even though he'll be there somewhere, but they surely will make him come out in the back and do something.
Well, that's the thing with WWE. Like, when the cameras are on, you're in character. Like, I mean, if the camera comes on you, you're in character. Think about when even the last. Speaking of the last Manias, like we had. Remember when they would pan to like Kofi, and then they would pan to Daniel Bryan. Like they would cheer Kofi, they would boo Daniel. Like you're in role. Like once the camera's on you, it's go time. So they might even do that little thing. They might even do what we just said. Like Ray's there, camera goes on Ray, then it cheers, and then goes to Dominic, then they boo. But then 100%, like Dominic's running up on that stage. What, like, for sure, 100%.
I want to keep on SmackDown, and one promo that for me just was a bit painful, and that was Charlotte came out and did a promo, and then what was weird about this was she's meant to be the face in all of this, and you can feel like there was a bit of a switch when the crowd were wanting her, and that heel persona came out. So I guess my question to you guys is Charlotte horrible as a face and she just embraced being a heel consistently throughout her career because she's a Flair? And the fact that the Flair persona is just that you're better than everyone else. Should she just continue to be a heel and just not try to pander to the face side of her? No?
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte has, I feel, legendary status in this game. She's done enough, in my opinion. So legendary status should just mean that you are above the rules, in the sense of John Cena is and has been a face forever and will never become a heel. Why can't we do the same for Charlotte? Why can't she just be the heel, that she's good at? John is the perfect face, and Charlotte is the perfect heel. So I don't see why that shouldn't continue for her. Like, there's no reason. Like, her facial expressions, her mannerisms, her being a very tall woman, and like the kind of storyline she had with her dad when she was cussing out her dad for weeks and he was crying on TV. Like, she's almost a better heel than her dad ever was. You know what I mean? It's natural to her. So I think she should carry that mantle for the rest of her career.
Can she just not rebrand as the dirtiest female in the game? And it just works. Like, I just feel like that will just work so easily. She's got the theme song. Like, nothing about Charlotte for me portrays a face. I don't know about you guys. Do you think similar as well?
No, yeah, I
Flair-
agree. To me, I
Oh,
think
okay.
she's wrestling royalty at the moment because of who she is. She's Charlotte Flair, but it's just turned stale. So I think, like you said, dirtiest female in the game. I think that's a good way of bringing her back. She just needs something different, even though that's kind of copying her dad. Still, like it's still something that will separate her from the crowd again. Because right now, I feel like she's just in the same level as everyone else. No one's really standing out in that women's division. So yeah, I'll go agree with you there, Abbas.
I think Flair's like, as you were saying, like both of you guys were saying, Flair's are meant to be hated. Like whether it was her dad, whether it's her herself. Like Flair's, the history of wrestling, they've always been hate. They've always been the people that rile up the crowd. They've always been the people that take the big hits and everybody cheers. Like that's how it's always been. But they've also always been some of the best in the game. That's just how it is. Charlotte has proved to us even though there's probably been loads of times they've put the belt on her and we're like, they're doing this again. But at the end of the day, like we can't hate when we can't disagree if we say when we say like she's the best that's probably ever steps in the ring. Like there's no debate about that. I think, and this always happens. This is always the cycle with Charlotte. Unfortunately, like they'll change her, and then eventually it gets to a point where people will just get bored of her, and then they put her back to being a heel, and it's like, oh, people care about hating her again. It's like, well, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like just keep her as how she is.
One person who's probably the best at right now than he's probably ever been is Roman Reigns. And Monday Night Raw, we had that promo with Cody Rhodes. We talked about how Cody is a bit stale. Well, we said it, Keanu. To be fair to you, you were the only one that was opposite to what we were saying about Cody not being stale.
And I must stay that way. Stay that way.
What happened on Monday between Cody and Roman? Has that changed your opinion on Cody at all, or is it still? He's still a bit flat and he needs to bounce off somebody else type of thing?
I think Roman destroyed him personally. Don't get me wrong, Cody Rhodes was good, but Roman just had those ones that were going to sting. Like that AEW line saying that you ran away, you couldn't get over in your own company that you started. Stardust line. Like all those ones there, those are the ones that really hit hard rather than Cody just saying, oh, you're going to lose Solo, you're going to lose Jay. We kind of already know all that. So I don't think there was anything there that Cody really said like deeply that was going to really speak to Roman, if you know what I mean.
You know what I like? The fact that you just shrugged to that as well, Matt. So I'm like thinking you kind of feel the same way that Roman's carrying, Cody's just there, and he's saying if he reflect, he's not happy that we're not
100%. 100%. No, because obviously I said last week that I'm not really a fan of Cody being the challenger for WrestleMania, and John Cena kind of had that air of Roman Reigns had that air of John Cena when they were going back and forth some years ago, and John Cena owned him, right? Roman in this segment was John Cena then, where he just kind of owned Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes threw his couple barbs at, the individuals in the bloodline leaving, and it wasn't. This match isn't as special as you'd want it to be. Paul Heyman and Roman are doing a good job of selling it and trying to make Cody seem like a viable threat, but it doesn't really feel that way to me. And I feel like my favorite line in the whole thing was when Roman was saying that, and then you came back to WWE and your body gave out on you, your pec went pop. I was like, yeah, Roman's a dastardly heel. Yeah, man. But so those are kind of the only things keeping me in it. Roman is keeping me in it as opposed to Cody. Cody's music is fantastic, by the way. Like, and all the pyro, they're paying extra for that pyro because they need something to sell this match. But I'd say Roman is carrying it in my opinion.
Could I just say as well, like what Miles touched on earlier with his promo back in the day with John Cena and how he's kind of playing that John Cena role right now. Can we just say like how beautiful this transition and the growth is of Roman Reigns? Because right now, it just doesn't look like anybody can touch him on the mic. Like the way his facial expressions are, the way his body language is, like he just knows he's that guy right now. And we've been waiting for that all this time. It's just a shame it's come at like maybe towards the end of his career, because we could have had it a long time ago. Like that one line John Cena said, he said, "I'm still here because you can't do your job," back in maybe
that was such a bar.
Yeah. So if Roman Reigns could have just got to this character then we could have had a beautiful, like, maybe like 5 years.
It's funny because you say Roman Reigns get into that character, but also I blame Vince. Like, why were you pushing him so hard in the wrong way? Okay, no one could have foreseen that the bloodline thing would have been the thing to do, but why were you pushing him down our throats as the baby face? Like, you know, as that next John Cena. Like, for me, it didn't really work. And so the heel Roman has just changed the game. I mean, even if and when he loses the title at WrestleMania, I want that guy to be a heel for the foreseeable. Like, he is just absolutely destroying it. Like, I just love it for him.
And I wouldn't even mind if he
Is
beat
there a
Cody
little
as well at
worry?
WrestleMania, you know.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't
I
mind.
wouldn't even mind.
because the Usos, because for me, the Usos need to lose their belts. But we'll talk about that on a WrestleMania preview. I'm sure we'll do another day. But yeah, man.
I got a lot to say, man. You lot said a lot. You lot said a lot, man.
Glory shows.
You lot said a lot, man. Firstly, yes, Roman is fantastic. He's the best.
Don't say but.
And no, I'm not saying but. I'm going to your last point of how he talking about his growth from that John Cena thing. I think he had to go through all of that to be what he is now, personally, because at that time he generally wasn't. He was ready, but he wasn't ready yet. To be where he is now. I think sometimes you have to just go through that as a character in this thing to just really develop into what you become as to what he is now and what he's showing us. As to what happened on Monday, I'm not having it. What you man are saying, I'm not having it. Cody was in there like it was Charlie Sloth and Fire in the Booth. The man said,
I'm not going that far.
the man said you will become a Roman without a reign.
Average
a chief
bars.
without a tribe.
Horrible.
I'm not
ABC,
having
bro.
it.
That's
I'm not
ABC
having
sort
it.
of
Yeah,
bar.
but guess what? If it's ABC, how come nobody else did it? How come no one else did it? And why did it hit like that? Cody. The thing about Cody is the thing that you lot aren't seeing about Cody is, even though some people might not like Cody, and I understand why some people might not like him. The thing about Cody is, the man, whether you want him to win or not, or whether you think he's gonna win or not, the man knows how to make people believers. He makes people believe in things, and he makes them happen. People said that the man wouldn't be able to draw 10,000 people to watch an independent wrestling show. Them man did that, and now it's probably one of the most fruitful wrestling companies that's going around right now. You know, I have to say that because some people don't think I don't like AEW, but I have to just say that. But yeah, this one of them. It's like it's very good competition for what WWE have got going right now. There's been loads of times where people said that Cody can't do something, and he's gone out and done it. Whether you don't like the man, that's fine. But the things he said that people can't do, he's done it. So even if you don't think he's gonna win at WrestleMania, even though he's going to win at WrestleMania, the man has made you believe, bro. Like, for some people, he's made you believe. And again, yes, his music is sensational. Is one of the best, and it gets louder.
Do you want to give us a little
rendition?
I did it last time. I did it on the last one. I did it on the last one. So
Did you?
Listen,
Did you?
I did. Yeah. It was small.
Cue that up. We need to cue that up.
It was small. It was a tiny one. But listen, Cody makes people believe. So whether you lot want it or not, this is happening. It's happening.
Well, him winning, yeah.
Yes, bro, it's happening. I'm telling you, it's happening. If it doesn't happen, fair, isn't it? Like, because
I think it will.
I think for me, again, going back to Roman, we're talking about what his character is. Like, we've gone from seeing him as the big dog, we've seen him now as the tribal chief. Do you not want to see psychotic Roman?
Yeah.
Out of his mind Roman. A Roman that has nobody with him to and has no idea what to do. How to get back to the levels he was. I want to see it. Expeditiously, I want to see it. Like, this needs to happen. And for that to happen, Cody has to win. And the thing is, there was something that I think you put in the chat the other day that I think is perfect for if Cody wins. That first night after he wins the title, who comes out to congratulate him? Randy,
I hear voices.
Keith.
Play that track right now.
I hear voices in my head. Yeah? Randy, Keith, Orton comes down the ring, hugs my man, daps him up. He says, "I'm so proud of you. Seen all the growth. It's amazing." Lifts his arm up. And then what? Bow!
Okay,
RKO.
that'll be lit.
Picks
That'll
the
be lit.
title up, and guess what?
Man,
It's
yeah.
done now.
I think that'd be
That's what I
storyline of the
need
year
it.
if that happens. Like
Need
the
it.
story writes itself, man. Like there's not
I
much you need to
need
do
it.
with that.
No, but do you know where that? Do you know what that will literally replicate? So when Orton won his first belt, Triple H did the exact same thing to him, and now you fast forward about 20 years, he does that. Do you know what? That would be nice, but then do you know what that will foreshadow? The fact that Cody's dream is going to be very small because Randy Orton will beat him and get that title, meaning he's a placeholder, and then we'll go on that little run where the title keeps switching, and we're not going to have that dominant champion like we do with Roman Reigns. That's my only problem.
No, they can make. No, if they make Cody the champion, I think they'll make him like a long champion because to beat Roman Reigns, you know, they'll keep that belt in him, and then he'll have to cycle through all the different challenges. But then again, what do you do with Roman Reigns? That's the only issue. Like, I don't
You
know.
take
gonna go
Roman
on
Reigns off
vacation,
TV.
though.
You take him
He's
off
gonna
TV
take a
for. You
break.
take him off TV. Let him have a break. Let him do movies. Let him do whatever. You give
Oh,
him
but
a
for
break.
how long, man? Roman is
But to be
box
fair, I
office.
think he's advertised for SummerSlam though.
Yeah, maximum SummerSlam. Maximum 6 months. Like maximum 5-6 months. Maximum.
Oof, that's a long time.
Nah,
It's-
listen. You think about think about this. Bear this in mind. When it gets by the time it gets to Mania, it would have been over 1,200 days since he's been pinned. That man's been working.
Yeah.
We can give him 3 months or 4 months. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's
We
true,
can give
it's
him
true.
we can give him that.
Very true. It's just so annoying because like Brock used to take breaks and he was still the title holder. Like that's the annoying thing. Do you know
Like
what
I don't,
mean?
yeah. If at least if the belt is off Roman, like at least with Roman, we when we found out that he was gonna resign and like he knew he was gonna take less shows, even though he like that contract's been long and signed, like it doesn't even that period of time, it doesn't feel like he's been really missing anything. So if he's still on that kind of contract when he loses the title, maybe it might just be like, okay, I'm gonna come back and do that, but I just need like 3-4 months just to do something. If I want to film a film, it might be about 6 months or something like that, or however long he needs. But I think obviously if he's gonna film a film, we'll hear about it, and then we'll probably know he's gonna be off for a much extended amount of time. But if there's nothing he has coming up in terms of appearances, and he's already advertised for SummerSlam, let that man chill for like 3 months, and then he'll come back.
Do you know how much power you've got to have to be able to be like, I want to get paid, but I want to take 3 months off and just chill. Like that's the cachet Roman's managed to build now that you don't really see when it comes to wrestling, because everyone else is doing grueling schedules and stuff where he's just, I want to take a few months off type of thing. And you know what? It's actually well deserved compared to everybody else.
Yeah, he's definitely earned it. Like what that guy's been doing over the past year, or even more than that since 2020 now. Like he deserves a break, in my opinion.
Since he saved the world titles, because it was Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. I can't lie, none of them two can take the world title and just run with it. So he saved the world title.
I've got an even bigger statement on Braun Strowman.
Before we get into Braun Strowman, though,
No,
we have to talk about Logan Paul and Seth Rollins.
Braun Strowman should get Future Endeavours.
He should get what?
That's
Future
the
Endeavours. Nah.
Woo!
Nah, yeah, fair. But he's better than Omos though. I'd rather have him as the giant.
No.
That's a
Oh,
difference.
No.
What you want Omos to go?
Nah.
Yeah, man. You know when they did the
You're
thing where they let
moving
Braun
mad.
Strowman go because
Yeah,
they
I
had
don't know.
another giant than Omos. I don't know why
Omos
they
is
did
the
that
next-
because Braun
Omos is the
Strowman
next
is
one.
twice the competitor than
I'll
Omos is.
explain to you why.
Yeah.
As to why they did Braun versus Omos.
No. You know, I think I heard backstage or something like this. Like they had to choose between one giant because they're doing all the releases, and they wanted Omos to be that giant rather than Braun Strowman. So they got rid of.
We've seen Braun. We've seen it.
But we need more giants though. Like
No,
we've only got.
I mean, I disagree with the fact that they feel like they only need one giant. You don't need one giant. I think there's nothing wrong with having Omos and Braun on separate brands. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think if you had to pick one, then let Braun go. Like, let him go. Don't get me wrong. I think if you was to let both of them go and you say, okay, we're going to watch them for 6 months and see who does more. Braun is obviously going to do more because he's a bigger name and he's a bigger draw. But I think...
Bro, Omos can't wrestle, man. That's another factor.
The thing is, most giants can't though.
Yeah.
Most of them can't. Like we was gassed over Big Show just slapping people in the corner. Like Come on.
True,
Like,
but
the only
Big
thing
Show
we
was
was
a
looking
star in
forward
itself,
to
though.
with Big Show that wasn't him slapping people in the corner was when he faced Brock and then he came off the top rope and he broke the ring. Like, Big Show was cool. Like, that and his music was nice, but other than that, like, Big Show didn't have much. He didn't have much.
We wish you well on your future endeavors.
That's it, man. We wish you well,
I like
man.
that.
Listen,
I like that.
it's all love, but we wish you well on your future endeavors, man. That's it. It's all love.
Do you know what? I like that. But one thing I'll say about Omos, he's got this internet popularity. There's something about him that people actually do like. And when he gets hit with that F5 against Brock Lesnar, it's going to be possibly the WrestleMania moment type of thing that everyone's waiting to look out for. Personally, I am. I like it. I like Omos. I'm a
You
fan.
guys
Wait,
happy with the
wait.
match then?
Do you
Because
think,
I feel like this is a whole waste of Brock Lesnar.
do you think Brock is winning?
If I'm saving it for the pod when we preview it, I will do. But
Yeah, we'll say that for a different episode.
It's coming.
No,
It's
no
coming.
problem. No
It's
problem.
coming.
Do you know what though? Before we wrap up, I think you said something collective important. We've talked about promos and stuff, but one guy who's basically they always do the celebrity thing, and Logan Paul seems to be like the hit. Like he's embraced the heel role. Are you guys impressed with Logan Paul on the mic and just overall his talent, or are you thinking he shouldn't really be where he is right now?
In terms of celebrities that have come into the WWE and had matches, like he surpassed all of that. And in terms of his promo work as well, I don't think any other celebrity has had like a massive impact on the mic than Logan Paul. Like what he did with Seth earlier in the week was incredible.
What has he said?
In terms of not what he said, but in terms of like the whole, like his whole body language, the whole like swagger of him. Like he's
okay. Sorry, Kelly.
Because
Go
ahead.
Because Kalechi's gone from on the mic to now body language. So I just wanted to know.
But the body language is part of the mic work. Like you got to have it all in terms of like the physicality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What he can do is work the what chance. If you can work that, that's like one part of the battle already completed because you're working the crowd. And I think that's one thing that I actually like, the fact that he can be able to do that. And then the way he takes the small little digs at the sports teams and stuff like that. I like it. Like he's embraced the heel role. And funny enough, it was Roman Reigns that helped him do that when he was on the Impulsive podcast. He goes, I don't like being booed. He goes, embrace it. Take being booed because you're getting a reaction and that's what you want. And I think since then, he's taken that heel role and just run with it perfectly well.
And it's kind of like how we were talking about with Theory earlier. People like to hate. Look, now don't get me wrong. That brother has an insane like catalog of mistakes that he's made. Insane. However,
Austin Fury or
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Oh right,
insane catalog of things that he's done wrong. However, if we're talking about the stuff that's going on in this ring, that brother's not put a foot wrong. He ain't put a foot wrong since he got here. And in the sense of relating it to Theory, people like to hate Logan for whatever reason, whether it's because of the stuff he did previously or just because of how, like, there's no reason that somebody who is not from the wrestling world should be as athletic as he is and perform as well as he has done within only 4 matches. Like, that match that he had with Roman is sensational. That's probably the best match that they've ever had in Saudi, to be perfectly honest. Like
that's why I think he will steal the show with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But I think that's that you leave him in these type of positions. Like you put him in the position where, and I think also he's been fortunate enough to face a lot of people who, for the most part, are better than him and can allow him to show off what he's able to do, even though it might be limited. They can make it look better. Like you're in there with Ray. Ray is a small man. Ray, like you lift up Ray and you do a 3 amigos to Ray, it looks sensational. Like you have a match with Roman. Roman's an all-timer. Roman can sell. People forget Roman sells really, really well. You put him in there with Seth, you put him in there with that's like having that's just the playground. Like Seth, you already know Seth's gonna get his things off. But Seth will sell for you if you're worth it. And Logan has so far shown that he's worth it. So I think it could be a match that steals the show. To be perfectly honest. I'm curious about that match, because I hate the fact, like when we had AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon, like we were limiting AJ Styles' ability, putting him in with someone like Shane McMahon who can barely string together 2 moves. So I'm hoping Logan Paul can match up to Seth Rollins' kind of his moveset and we actually get a good match that shows everything of like the best of both guys, because Seth Rollins in the ring is just levels ahead of most people. So to put him in there with Logan Paul, who's barely had like 5 matches, I just hope that we're going to see the best out of Seth Rollins as well and not limit him.
Well, Seth has not had a lot of matches where it's really been bad, or as to where the styles don't clash. Haha, styles clash. But but Seth knows how to make things work. So it's just I think it's going to be a good one. Like I generally think, I don't think it will be the best match on the show, on both shows, but it has a possibility to, I think, at least be top 3, top 5.
Do you know, quick hot take before we wrap up. I don't love Seth Rollins. I like Seth Rollins, but there's an element of him being a bit overrated for me. There's an element of it. I don't know what it is, but I do find him a little
End the stream. Let's get out of here. End the stream.
Yeah,
What?
stop it, man.
This is Seth Rollins we're talking about, you know.
I know, look, it's just one of the things. But do you know what? I'm going to go with what Mal said.
No, wait. To give me, okay, no, wait, no. Before you do that, give me 3 people in wrestling that are better than Seth right now. In general, anywhere.
I'm giving you Roman.
Okay.
I think Cena still is better on his day when he wants to put the match on. I think Cena's still better. And just for overall excitement, I would take Brock.
Yeah, he's got a point. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but think about the names he just mentioned. And then he's talking about overrated.
I
I was
But those are bona
like,
fide. Well, maybe not Roman Reigns, but the others are legends, though. Like
that's what I'm
Johnson
saying.
has been in
You're
for
mentioning
ages.
legends, so it's alright. I threw you a softball. It's fine. Don't worry. You listen. Well done.
Look at
You
the
took this-
look at the sabotage in this show.
Seth Rollins overrated, you know.
First he got you, then he tried to get me.
It's cool because when you bump into him, you have to explain it to him. It's fine.
Say to his face.
Bro,
That's
the
cool.
crazy thing about Seth Rollins, is that he's the reason why you love other wrestlers, because he
Exactly.
just makes other people look so
He
much better.
makes other people look sensational, bro.
Yeah, you
like-
got to give him his props. It's like Dolph
Yeah.
Ziggler as well, to be honest.
I'm
But,
not happy
yeah.
with this iteration of Seth, but Seth
Yeah.
was my favorite person when the Shield broke up. I mean, he was everything.
Listen, people have been
Absolutely
begging the
everything.
brother to get a blonde streak in his hair since
Boy,
then.
you need to go back to that.
Since.
Yeah.
I would have liked for him to be Triple H's understudy for a longer period, because that was
Oh, you know, that was sensational.
that was
The switch
fantastic.
to Kevin always think way too quickly, and I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah.
And like when he did the whole thing with Rey Mysterio and stuff like that was cool. But this is like, you're gonna come out. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna do your weird laugh. People are gonna sing your song. Then you're gonna do a bit of a meh promo personally, and then you're just gonna walk, or you'll do a little curb stomp, and that's about it. That's all we're getting from Seth week on week, and it's just a bit like, give me a little bit more, please. I want to see a bit more.
I think the losses have added up, and it's ruining him now because people are not really taking him seriously as that guy.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think Seth is so good he can lose.
Yeah, but
I
not too
think-
many times. I agree with you, but
But
it's
yeah, but
getting-
think you have to think about like who the people he's losing to. Like he's losing to people who are at the top of the card. I think
if he loses to
for
Logan
me-
Paul, what happens?
I don't think he's losing to Logan Paul. I think he's beating Logan Paul 100%. Like I think even
We'll come
I
back
think
to that.
even going back to Clash of the Castle, I thought he was gonna beat Riddle. I 100%. The way that the story was going, the way how personal Seth was being in that story, I thought, oh, there's no way they can put Seth over. But they said, nah, Seth is our guy. He's going over. And I was like, fair play. I'm not mad at it. So I think with this, Logan, regardless of like if the 2 people that Logan has lost to is Roman Reigns and Seth, that's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I think we probably will have to revisit the conversation if he does lose, but I don't think he's losing.
But you know what? We're going to wrap up with today's episode of Future Endeavours. As always, if you like the content, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Look at Keanu just putting out the belt like he's won this debate completely when he's the worst loser out of everybody. I'm sorry, you are for sticking with Cody Rhodes. I'm sorry, you have to be.
It's cool because when he wins, I'll sing the theme song. It's cool when he wins.
I want
When-
that. We get a
when
full
Logan Paul wins, I have my prime ball sipping on
What is wrong with you, man?
What's going on? He's
What's happening?
sponsored.
Today,
He's
this episode is sponsored by Prime. We've got all flavors on this podcast. So, this one, by the way,
the resale for that.
ultimate drink. I
This
can't
is
even
not
lie.
ads.
This one's
Nice.
actually good.
I like that. I'm gonna bring some Prime as well.
All right, cool. And for you, and for Kelechi daring to say that Logan Paul is good on the mic, I have my own microphone here
Ooh.
for you guys. Logan Paul is crap. Logan Paul is crap on the mic, in my opinion. But that's for another time.
That's for another time. But as always, like, share, subscribe, and love and peace.